Since October 2012, employers have needed to provide a workplace pension scheme, which employees are auto-enrolled into. But are they any good? What do they do? And should you opt out? Well, in this video, I will explain what a defined contribution pension is, what it means to be auto-enrolled, how contributions are calculated, what happens when you change jobs, and some tips on managing your pensions. So one thing I should say before I jump into this video, this is financial education. It is not financial advice. We're talking about pensions, which are tricky financial products. You may want to seek some expert advice from an independent financial advisor. If you are classed as a worker that earns at least $10,000 per year and are aged between 22 and state pension age, then you qualify to be auto-enrolled. Your state pension age will depend on your date of birth and is gradually changing. I have a video about when you'll be able to get your pension, which I have linked up here. If you meet the requirements, what can you expect from your employer? Firstly, you should get a letter from your employer that will give you some information about your pension. Things like the date you were added to their scheme, the type of pension, and who runs it. You should also get some information about how much you'll be paying and how much they will be contributing. Something your employer cannot do is try to persuade or force you to opt out. Okay, you've been enrolled automatically, but how much can you expect to pay into your pension? The short and sweet answer is that you would pay 5% of your earnings and your employer would add 3% in order to meet the minimum requirement of 8%. Your pension scheme will define what is classed as your earnings, which will change your contribution amount. It is possible for your employer to pay a higher contribution, increasing your pension pot or allowing you to lower the amount you pay, provided that you still reach that 8% total minimum contribution. I will link to a calculator in the description to show the amounts you would expect to pay based on your earnings. This can all come a little more complicated when we look at something called salary sacrifice. This is a way that you lower your income by your pension contribution, and instead your employer pays the full contribution on your behalf. This means both you and your employer pay less national insurance contributions, but it also means you are earning less on paper, which can affect your personal finance, things such as benefits, mortgage or loan applications, and state entitlements. So how safe is a workplace pension? Your pension will usually be run by a pension provider and not the company you work for. So if the company were to go bust or close, your pension pot would still exist. Now, if your pension provider was to go bust, provided they were an FCA authorized provider, you can get compensation from the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. Another thing to mention here is that when you started your pension, you should have been able to nominate somebody to receive your pension if you were to die before reaching the pension age. This is something you can change at any time. Contact your pension provider to see what options they have for you. It's also something that you need to check up on. You don't want to have, say, an ex-partner's name on your pension so they get it when you die. Perhaps you'd rather it went to somebody else now. What happens if you aren't able to work for a period of time or change jobs? In short, the pension is yours and you are always entitled to it. If you take paid leave, then contributions are still made. And if you take unpaid leave, it may still be possible for you to continue to contribute. Ask your employer or pensions provider about your options. With parental leave, if you are still getting paid, the contributions will continue. If you're not getting paid, then your employer continues to contribute for the first 26 weeks of leave. It is possible that your contract will state that the employer continues to make contributions after this time. So check the maternity policy at your workplace. If you get a new job, then you may have the option to continue to contribute to the pension scheme, or simply enroll and start a new pension with the new company. If you've changed jobs, then you might have multiple pension schemes to your name. If you don't know who your old pension providers were, then you can use pension trackers to find your pensions. I will link to the one on the gov.uk website in the description. You should be able to transfer old pensions. You might be able to do this into your current pension scheme. There are also pension providers out there that offer a transfer service, meaning they will find all your pensions and combine them into one scheme. You have the option to opt out of these pension schemes at any time. Some people do this to increase their earnings, removing the contribution that is taken out of their income to pay off things such as high interest debts. Others do it because they believe they have a better system for preparing for retirement. If you are considering opting out, then remember you will lose the contribution to your pension that your employer is making, and you'll be paying more tax as your contribution is calculated prior to tax. Whether you like workplace pensions or not, if you learned something from this video, please leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to see more financial education videos, and until the next one, bye.